The USDA uncovers one of the largest fraud bribery schemes in its history. All right, let's go ahead and jump into it, guys. Absolutely. This is a suggestion via Discord, guys.
Agriculture employee and 5 others under arrest this morning,
Okay.
accused of a multi-million-dollar food stamp fraud and bribery scheme. The U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York calling this one of the largest food stamp frauds in U.S. history. Joining me now is the U.S. Secretary of Agriculture, Brooke Rollins. Secretary, it's great to have you this morning. What can you tell us about this?
Well, good morning, Maria. It's always so great to be with you, and you are coming from one of my favorite places in America, so it's really great to see you there. Listen, this is a new day, and President Trump promised as he was traveling across the country over the last few years that it would not be the government that we know. The government certainly that under Joe Biden exponentially grew, and alongside that, including the fraud and waste and abuse. And so at USDA, we are hyper-focused on rooting out that waste, fraud, and abuse. And to your point, yesterday was, if not the largest, one of the largest stings. And moving forward and finding that fraud, I think almost $70 million that is no longer going to be allowed here in Washington and with these programs like the food stamp program. So we're going to move forward, obviously, in partnership with the FBI, with the Department of Justice, of course, our team at USDA. This is not the one and only. There are going to be many more to come, and we're going to make sure that we're delivering on our promises to the taxpayers.
All right, guys, I definitely think that we need to kind of go into a good amount of all of these lettered, 4-lettered, 3-lettered organizations and kind of clean up a good amount of it. I think a lot of waste is happening regardless of where it's going. A lot of waste is happening, period. The fact that 5 people were here from the USDA were just charged with $66 million in some type of fraud case, I would definitely like to know like exactly what happened, right? Hopefully they'll get into that there. But I don't think it matters in the context here. $66 million stolen from the public is absolutely despicable. And I definitely hope that there's going to be some type of, payback system. I have no idea how that's going to happen, but, either way, there definitely needs to be something coming from this. I definitely would like for them to start paying this back immediately. But again, the average person in the United States of America will never even see $1 million in their lifetime, guys, right? So I have no idea how that's going to work, but we'll find out.
So the prosecutors and the authorities are saying that this person defrauded the SNAP program, right?
Okay.
The also known as food stamps, $66 million in unauthorized transactions.
That's right. Well, the food stamp program is one of the largest government programs across the federal government. And obviously, I've talked on this show and other shows that it's time for real effective change. Part of that $200 billion annual program, the best sort of estimate is between 20 to 30% of that is fraud, waste, and abuse. The $66 million that was announced yesterday on behalf of USDA and the others that were part of that, again, is just the tip of the spear. And the way that works, right, Maria, the EBT cards is what USDA, the government, uses to provide that supplemental nutrition assistance, which is the food stamps, and that it's a fairly easy thing to do. We're trying to lock it down right now to ensure that it doesn't keep happening. But when you've got employees that basically don't follow the law, then we've got to fix it, and that's what we're doing. There's going to be real consequences for breaking the law across America's federal government with President Trump, but this is just one of many more to come.
Okay, so I guess my concern here is that, so it says a USD employee, so obviously one individual that works for the government and 5 others, maybe they're externals, right? But how exactly were they, like, did one card have like $10 million on it? Yes. Who were they feeding? I'm not sure that anyone is ever going to utilize any of that amount of food here, guys, right? And I have no idea if this, I've never been on this program, right? So I don't know exactly, like, can they get money from it? Is that how that works here, guys? Like, what exactly and how exactly was this even lucrative? Did they go like to some random, like Any Hood USA, let's say, and start selling them? I don't know, guys. I have so many questions here. Like, how do you pilfer $66 million worth of food? Like, where does it go? Like, where does it, guys, did they spend 66 million, or was this 66 million on the actual, like, the multiple call? Guys, a lot of questions.
Well, we definitely want to see consequences and accountability, but let me move on. Secretary, you approved state waivers to make America healthy again by removing unhealthy foods from the SNAP programs in Indiana and Iowa.
That should be
On Monday,
mandatory.
you approved the first ever state waiver to restrict soda and energy drinks from the food stamps in Nebraska. You're really zeroing in on health and wellness for our young people and everyone else. Your thoughts? Tell us more.
Well, I am really proud. I'll be honest with you. I'm a little surprised that this hasn't happened before, right? It's just common sense. This is the age maybe of common sense in Washington, that taxpayer dollars were being used to fund lower income Americans' purchase of sugary drinks and junk food. Now, if they want to use their own money to do that, of course, you know, that's fine. It may not be the best health choices, but the fact that taxpayers have been funding this in a massive program, the number one purchase of with using taxpayer dollars was on sugary drinks. So I guess for years, none of those waivers
that's crazy,
that
guys,
have been submitted by the states have been approved, but we already approved Nebraska was first. Iowa and Indiana were last week. And then we've got several more announcements in the coming week, and then hopefully many, many more to follow. And this is bipartisan, Maria. This is not just, you know, Republican governors. It's
that's a good thing. That's even better than
working together to ensure that we're providing the right sort of programming that we need for our lower income Americans.
That's fair.
Now, Secretary, the last time we spoke, I believe the president had just done a deal with the UK on trade. You were traveling there. You're going now to Rome next week. You'll reinforce the administration's expectations for improved agricultural market access to Italy and the rest of the European Union. What would be a victory for us? What markets do you want to see open in Italy and the rest of the EU?
Well, Italy is next week. In a couple of weeks, I head to India and Vietnam and Japan. Then we circle down to South America. It's time to open the markets for our agriculture producers. So as we head to Italy, we've got a $44 billion trade deficit with Italy just on agricultural products. I'm sorry, that's across the markets, but $44 billion. We send soybeans and wheat, kind of some feed additives for some agriculture products, but we bring in a lot of their wine, a lot of their pasta.
Okay.
We've just got to get these markets open. And it's not just the tariff side and ensuring that we've got the reciprocity that the president has been so focused on and just done such a great job for our country, but it's also on the non-tariff trade barriers. The EU and other countries around the world have used some of those based on faulty science, bad data, really on a protectionist approach. We've got to open those markets up. So we had an amazing
I figured we were going this route
days
here.
in
Hold
the
on.
UK. We're making a lot of progress there. I'm so excited to meet with my counterpart
UK
in Italy
makes
next
sense.
week, their Secretary of Agriculture, along with other Italian, key government officials. Then as we move around the world, several of the other cabinet members are doing the same thing. I think that it is a new day for America, for American products, for what we're manufacturing here, and from my perspective, for our amazing farmers and ranchers.
Okay. Yeah. Here's the thing. I'm trying to say this as nicely as humanly possible here, right? Okay, I'm American. I'm fat. All right. Most Americans are pretty fat, guys. All right. In Europe, I live half the year in the south of Spain, Andalusia, Costa del Sol, guys, right? They don't want our food. They're not fat, bro. Like they're not, I'm telling you, I walk around and I'm like, oh my God, all right, can I fit in the seat? Bro, that's the type of energy I get when I walk around Spain. Okay, I am I feel as if at least I'm the largest person in the entire country. I'm telling you, that's what I feel like. The largest person, period. Now, when it comes to specifically Italy, they're a little bit bigger sometimes. I mean, I'm guessing it's due to the pasta specifically, or when I'm in Italy specifically, I'm mainly in like Sicily. So that's a thing, right? That could be just that's what I'm talking about, maybe potentially. They're a little bit slimmer, let's say, like in the area of like around Rome. Let's say they walk a lot more. Let's say, but they don't want our food, bro. They don't want our food. They do not want to look anything like us, like at all. They find us disgusting. Okay, the UK, I understand that because the UK has gotten pretty portly over the last 2 decades. Okay, when I went in the early 2000s, I look around and everyone is, like average weight, let's say. You go back, I went back what last year. Whoa. Okay. I'm guessing it's our American fast food. Like all the issues that we have in the United States of America, I guess it's beneficial for them because they at least get free healthcare. So if you're going to eat the junk that we basically produce in terms of the junk food and all the fattening things and the GMO laced, agriculture, let's say, um, I don't know, bro. I don't think they're interested. Like they see us and they're just like, "Mm, okay, you guys are eating like you have free healthcare, but you don't, right? So that's a thing, okay. But at least over there, I mean, I guess they can deal with some like slightly cheaper produce. But why? I guess they could deal with some slightly cheaper produce, but obviously with all of our toxic nonsense in our food, um, because they have free healthcare. That'll be beneficial, I guess, in that sense. They could save a little bit more money, but then you'll start to notice that their healthcare costs start to rise. Right? That's a thing, potentially. But I just can't imagine, like seriously, many countries in Europe having any interest in our food, like at all. And keep in mind, they don't make that much money, bro. Right? So, what exactly are they trying to buy from us? Are you going to make things cheaper to send it to Europe? That could be a thing, I guess, right? But the fact that they generally don't make that much money, like the average um, person, like I say in my town, in the village I live in Spain, is probably doing like 1,000 to like maybe 2,000 on the high end on a monthly basis, right? Like and I'm talking about they're doing very well. All right, they 4,000 square foot house with like rooftop access. Okay, and 4 floors, and the Sierra Nevada mountains surrounding them. So what I'm trying to point out here is that they don't really make that much money, right? Like their lives are not like ours. Like they're not workaholics. They don't work themselves to death. They live longer than us. They have fresh water, and generally organic produce that's not poisoned by modifying it, guys. Right? So I don't understand why Europe, Japan would want our nonsense. We're the fattest country. Like we're like the fattest people. Okay. I mean, Samoa, we can add Samoa into there too, and some of like the the Polynesian islands and things like that. Sure, sure, we can go for that. But we're like the fattest people on earth, bro. All right, like the average weight for men and women here are like 60 pounds, 70 pounds more than everywhere else. So why would they want to put what we're putting in our bodies, acting like we have free healthcare, into their bodies? They don't want to do that. And that's just it could be obviously anecdotal evidence based off of the people that I've experienced, specifically in the south of Spain. Like encountering them, they do not want anything from America. Food, forget about it. And if it's and like if it's anything else, they can afford it, right? Like they have stores all around Europe. They're like American stores where you can go inside them, and they treat our stuff like novelty. Right. So that's a thing. You want to go get some American candy today at like 10 times the price of what it should be? Go ahead. Right. But they treat it like a novelty. And it's so much money that they'll consume it like twice a year and never eat it again, compared to what they would get from their country. So I don't know what we're gonna get in terms of trade, specifically in Europe. I mean, I can probably see something coming from like Germany because they have money. Um, yeah, like Germany specifically. Finland. mm, Yeah, I would probably leave it at that, bro. Like Helsinki would love our stuff to a certain extent, but still not have any issues. But they'll still have obviously issues with like the produce, guys. Because again, why would they buy it? Right? We definitely want them to buy our stuff if we're making it, so we can kind of make some money off of it. But why would they buy it? I don't know. This is just a thought here, guys. I'm kind of all over the place with this, but I see it and I'm just like, I don't know, guys. I don't know. I just can't imagine that happening. But if it happens, great. But you're basically poisoning another community with our toxic nonsense. Like our health is terrible here, guys. Really, like our produce is terrible in comparison. Like everything tastes different. Like all the fruit tastes different in Europe. Just understand, like my wife is from the south of Spain, for example. Um, she She eats all types of fruit, let's say. An orange is not an orange. Okay. Whatever we call oranges here are not what she calls an orange. And to understand that Valencia is not too far from us. I'd say about 45 minutes. Right. So she's experienced. She eats oranges. Eat orange in the United States of America. What is this sweet thing? Why is everything so sweet and perfect? That makes any sense. Like there's no oddly shaped orange. You get what I mean here? When you start to see that everything is basically perfect because of our market and our level of perfectionism, let's say in grocery stores, you start to realize that we have issues here. Okay, we have massive issues. Like if you notice something is bruised, let's say, no one will buy it. And so what does the grocery store understand now? If you send us bruised products, they're not going to sell at all. So then what do the suppliers realize? We can't sell the bruised products. So what happens? You start modifying everything to be basically perfect to the point where a watermelon is no longer really a watermelon. I don't know what that thing is, guys. Look at an old image of a watermelon like 100 years ago, before before our toxic nonsense has entered into the agricultural market. Look at it and come back to me and be like, oh, exactly, bro. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Right, and that's basically all of the fruit and vegetables. Like, what is that thing? Everything tastes different. Everything is much more sweet and colorful. I've noticed, and that's just something that I cannot imagine. Non-Americans, non-Westerners finding appealing, right? It's all due to some, like, I don't know, guys. I'm gonna go, guys. But hopefully you understand my point. You can argue with me in the comments. I'll respond to as many people as I possibly can. All right. But listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly.